2, 3, let's go.
So if possible, can you recall the events years before you began to record these rap performances, sitcom appearances, interviews, music videos, documentaries, and commercials that led to you archiving this footage? Like, what were the events?
Right. The events that probably led to it probably was born inside of me. Not only did I do it, and do I do it for hip hop, I do it for many facets of my life, and I always have. So although I'm known currently for archiving that hip hop era of the 90s and 2000s, I've been archiving every aspect of my life from as long as I can remember all the way up until now. So essentially what happens for people like me is that
Words Matter. Welcome to the Words Matter pod with Akil, Pinnock, a podcast dedicated to storytellers. I'm here with hip-hop archivist Claudio Abreu, creator of the popular HipHopVCR platform.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
Doing good, man. Blessed always.
Yeah. So we are here in Mount Vernon in Claudio's photo studio.
Yep.
But Claudio also is known for HipHopVCR.
Yes.
And HipHopVCR is I guess you would say it's a archival hip hop platform that documents or repurposes different interviews, hip hop interviews, TV show appearances, sitcom appearances, performances, news between the years of 1997 and 2005.
Yep.
So, who are you?
Depends how you're asking that question.
Yeah.
But I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm passionate. I'm a photographer. I'm Claudio Abreu. I'm human. I'm Dominican. Many things. I guess it depends on what day, but on some days I'm the shit.
Yeah.
Others, I need to work.
Yeah.
On myself, on my craft. Sometimes I'm the best.
Yeah.
So it depends, but hopefully that answers it.
Did I say your last name wrong?
Say it.
I said Abreu.
That's one way to say it.
Okay.
Since I'm not so finicky, people it's Abreu in Spanish.
Yeah.
So you're in that cadence.
Yeah.
But then people in America go Abreu. So I accept it all. I was born in America, so I mean, I remember my kindergarten teacher. She was like Abreu, and I was like, I'll take it.
Tomato. They probably hit you with one of those.
Right. I never correct nobody. So
yeah.
But you said it good.
All right. Thanks. So, if possible, can you recall the events years before you began to record these rap performances, sitcom appearances, interviews, music videos, documentaries, and commercials that led to you archiving this footage? Like, what were the events?
Right. The events that probably led to it probably was born inside of me. Not only did I do it, and do I do it for hip hop, I do it for many facets of my life, and I always have. So although I'm known currently for archiving that hip hop era of the 90s and 2000s, I've been archiving every aspect of my life from as long as I can remember all the way up until now. So essentially what happens for people like me is that once I like something, I want to archive it because I want to experience it again.
Yeah.
In the future. So I think of myself when I was 15, I was thinking of myself when I was 70. Like 70-year-old Claudio is going to want to see this. My purpose for archiving anything was never to necessarily share it with anybody. It was always a selfish act. And so, but now when I started HipHopVCR back in November of 2021, I felt like there was a need and a responsibility for me to put this stuff out there. And so then I was pushed towards that. But people like me and myself, once, like I said, if we enjoy something, you're going to find ways to archive it. And I was always a photographer.
Yeah.
Photography is a form of archiving. And I'm learning that now. And essentially, I'm learning about myself and why I do what I do. So I've been photographing since I was a kid, and I learned that from my mom. And so, again, there was a VCR in my home, like many homes during that time, and tapes of movies and who knows what else. And so I started actually recording basketball games, Michael Jordan games, back in 94. So I had already started recording like every Michael Jordan game that appeared on national television.
Yeah.
I was there. So once 96 came around and like I started getting into hip hop heavy and I started liking it, Tupac, Wu-Tang, Method Man, I was like, I want to start, this stuff is incredible. And I started recording it. So it's something that's always been inside of me. It's not a coincidence that I'm a professional photographer. Furthermore, I'm a professional photographer for our people, Black and Hispanics. And so on my hard drive, I have over a decade of photos of our people.
Yeah.
It's an archive. I know I run a business, and my intention wasn't to archive our people, but it turned into that.
Yeah.
So I naturally always fall into that. I've been videotaping my kids since they were born, literally day one, all the way up until now. So like me and my wife will sit in front of the TV. We just did this the other day, and I'll just like shuffle wild videos. And we'll just, when this happened, when that, stuff we haven't seen in over a decade. I have a 17-year-old and an 11-year-old. And so I just archive everything. My whole life is archived.
Yeah.
Everything. So it's just something that I naturally fall into. And hip hop happened and I archived it. And it's just part of my journey.
Yeah.
Just naturally like that.
What is that one thing, in family and all of the things that you love in hip hop? What is that? Is it just like in your nature to do that? I guess you learned it from your mom, but like what about those things? What is it like a tangible thing that makes you say like, this has to be documented?
It's a selfish thing.
Yeah.
It's all about me.
Yeah.
It's all about me. It's all about me. I cherish life so much and the experience that I have and the moments that I want to do it again.
Yeah.
I have an addictive personality. I've never been addicted to a substance.
Yeah.
Of any type. Like I don't smoke, I don't drink. I love my sweets, but I've never really been addicted to like a substance, at least not the ones that harm me right away, like a drug or an alcohol. But I live in the moment, and so I want to experience this again. I always am creating. I tell my kids, you always want to create moments and memories. You want to live in the now. The past is great, but you don't want the past to be the greatest moment you've ever had.
Yeah.
You want to keep having those moments. But while I'm creating those moments for myself, for my family, for my friends, I'm documenting it just to keep it there. And that stuff morphs into something different later. Sometimes you don't realize what you're experiencing until later on.
Yeah.
It becomes legendary in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll look at videos and I go, sweetie, I'm a legend. Yo, and my wife was like, yo, babe, you are prolific. Like, you really went in. And I was like, babe, and it's nothing to me. And so just the stuff that I've collected throughout my life is just, again, I live in the moment, but every now and then I go to the past and I go, damn, Claudia, you killed it and you still killing it right now. And I'm archiving right now, but it's in the present. I don't appreciate it right now. Nobody does because we're here now.
Yeah.
But it's just that feeling. I don't know. It's a selfish feeling. It's a selfish feeling, and it just comes from me wanting to have that stuff in the future, and I'm gonna do it again. So when I'm 80, I'm gonna sit back and watch all the stuff I'm doing now.
Yeah,
and maybe like my family, my great grandchildren will do something with this stuff further than I could have, because I feel like I'm also I'm gathering history.
Yeah.
And even if it's my history, I represent a bunch of people,
Yeah.
whether I like it or not. So it's gonna be archived somewhere one day, hopefully. And these times, they're important,
Mm-hmm.
and it all boils down to somewhere in there.
But even though initially it was selfish, but
Mm-hmm.
it seems like over time it turned into a selfless act
Yes.
because you're, like you said, you're doing this to show your people.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Absolutely. And that needed to happen. It's almost like I was too young to understand the scope of what I was doing. And now there was a turning point when I got older. What are you going to do with this, Claudio? And it's a subconscious thing. This is not something I'm consciously doing. But I happen to be a humanitarian. So that act is naturally going to transition into the act of sharing it for a purpose. So again, I'm doing stuff now that I don't know what I'm doing it for myself now, but this stuff will be relevant and important to a group of people later.
Yeah.
Hey, let me give you a radical example. Let's say that anarchy happens and all these buildings don't exist no more and we're walking around the Walking Dead. Can you imagine like if somebody's archived like even like my home videos of my family or how I ran my business, you know how valuable that stuff will be?
Yeah.
If there's ever a time when we're no longer experiencing those things, And so, especially with HipHopVCR in this example, I was sitting on the stuff and I felt irresponsible for not putting it out. Let's say I got lazy or felt it was too much work, which it is a lot of work. And I said, you know what, fuck that. I'm just not gonna put it out. I'm sorry, I don't know if I should be cursing.
That's fine.
Okay, cool. I didn't ask you that, but there was something inside of me that said, no, Claudio, it's your responsibility. You need to put this out. You need to. There's a bunch of people out there who need to experience this, and it was never about money. I don't think it's ever going to be about money. It's never going to be about money. And I feel that I hope that people, especially now post-COVID, there's a lot of depression going on. I think that for that culture, the stuff that I'm putting out is bringing them hopefully some kind of joy, some kind of relief. A lot of our people from my generation, I could see that they're struggling. It's hard. And I get all kinds of incredible DMs and contacts and people who are very emotional about the stuff that I'm putting out. I don't have anything to do with it in the sense that I didn't create it. You know? I don't really deserve the credit in regards to the content, but accumulating it and putting it out and curating it. I'm a curator.
Yeah.
Is something that I take seriously. Somebody out there appreciates the hell out of this stuff, and that includes the musicians, the VJs, the people who remember that was a part of their life. It was
VJs,
fun.
man, those don't even exist no more.
Right, but yeah, I've spoken to a couple of them, and that was their life. They were young, and they ran through a lot of special people. They interviewed at the time. These people were rappers or R&Bs, but these are people who were creating history. This is history that was happening. It wasn't a musician. I mean, there are different levels of it, but when I forget his name, but one of the guys that interviewed Kanye West really early on, he hit me and we had a conversation, and he gave Kanye the first interview ever on MTV, and I posted it in my first channel before it got taken down. And he hit me. He was like, man, this is a big moment. And he didn't realize how big that moment was until now, until he could reflect, you feel me? Back then, it's just Kanye, it's a new guy. Let's just give him a chance. Okay, let's interview him. But, Kanye ends up being Kanye and doing the things that he does. And that interview now is perceived differently. You understand? And again, you see as time passes, these memories, they change shape, they change purpose. And that's a good example right there. And he and that VJ, damn, I forget his name. He appeared in the Kanye West documentary just recently.
Torre.
There you go.
Okay.
It was him. Great guy.
He's a legendary journalist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know much about him, but I remember seeing him all the time on MTV. But he hit me and he wanted the video, and I sent him the video, something I rarely do. But he deserves that video. Like, you're in it. That's your history. And I sent him that video. So that's an example right there of just how it morphs throughout time. And I appreciate that. And again, it's my responsibility. Steph Lover, she hit me. Yo, can you send me the Nas interview?
Yeah.
You know, I sent her the Nas interview. It took some time, but I felt like Steph, that was her video. Like if Nas asks me, I'll give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own it. Apparently Nas don't own it, but if I got it, I'll give it to whoever needs it. Like, it's y'all. So now it has become selfless. And now I feel like I have a responsibility, and that's why I'm continuing HipHopVCR despite all the
obstacles.
Exactly, you know?
Yeah. There are so many different YouTube channels and Instagram pages that are dedicated to posting rare music, footage, and photos. How do you separate your content from other platforms?
So what ended up happening is that my personality permeated through my content. And what you learn is that if you are yourself, if you're real, if you're connected, if you're in touch, no matter what you do, somehow who you are is gonna show. And I think that I didn't show up on HipHopVCR for a while. For most of the channel's lifetime, people didn't know what I looked like, what I sounded like, or anything like that. But people were able to draw a picture of who I was. And so I think what stands out is that my personality somehow permeates through the channel, despite the fact that I'm not, for the most part, I don't appear on it often. And maybe because I often reply to comments, I'm engaging with the people, I'm approachable. For some reason, people think that a platform like mine wouldn't be approachable. Like, oh, I can't believe you responded to me. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not even famous. Like, you wildin'. like I'm not even like you like whatever. I got a DM. I'm gonna hit it back. Like, what you need? Like, what's up? How can I help? You know. And so, I also wanted to make HipHopVCR professional in some sort of way. So I think that helps us stand out. There was something else too. I wanted to give it this aesthetic, right? This VHS tape aesthetic kind of situation. So everything was geared in that direction. So I gave it a brand. I started branding HipHopVCR. This is something that I don't think that many people who were doing this were doing before I did it. Just kind of like overall branding this kind of stuff. Like, okay, the content is rough looking. It doesn't look like HD. So I'm gonna go with that aesthetic. Like, imperfection is good here.
Yeah.
You know, because nothing about a VCR and a VHS and the quality that we were recording it was perfect.
It's horrible technology when you think back.
But we're also in a time right now where a newer generation, younger than me and you, kind of appreciate that lo-fi kind of. I don't know if lo-fi is the term, but it's like this high quality, low quality stuff. Yeah. You know? And I like that. I like that it kind of swung back around where, like, I'm talking about younger than me. Like teenagers now.
Gen Z.
Yeah, and even younger. I got an 11-year-old, and that whole aesthetic of like lo-fi, low quality stuff, they like that stuff. That authenticity kind of situation, because now everything could be very HD and crisp. And so I wanted to go with that vibe, with that aesthetic. So as I evolved the channel, I was going in that direction. So like making stuff professional, like my logo, but also giving it like the VCR lines and some kind of lo-fi effect to it. And you know, the first intro that I had, I just changed my intro because the guys at Fresh Out, they made a new intro for me, and people love it. But before that, it was me like popping in the tape. The tape goes in, the blue screen shows up. If you know anything about VCRs, that blue screen is gonna be familiar to you. With the play button that shows up, like these are all things that I think the people on the other end could tell that it was done intentionally. Yeah, and I think that when they saw that, they they took it more seriously.
And it triggers that nostalgia too.
Yeah.
If you came up in the time of VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep in mind too, so when I first started posting on HipHopVCR, I was posting 10 videos a day. And there were guys who were hitting me going, yo, my daily routine is waking up and like watching your joint, right? And so they go, every time I see that tape pop in, I was excited.
Yeah.
So I had, like when we grew up watching cartoons, like, once that intro showed up for that cartoon, we were excited.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, like we're about to watch something new, whatever. So apparently I did that for my viewers. Like they were like, every morning, once that tape popped in, what were we gonna watch? Is it Redman? Is it Method Man? Is it Jay? Is it DMX? Is it Foxy? Is it Kim? And it's awesome. So I think that whole kind of thing I created just kind of like stood out to people, and they gravitated to it and they loved it because I've gotten comments about it all the time. So, oh, I love how professional your stuff is, and I guess nobody kind of did it at that level quite.
Yeah.
Hopefully I lead the way and we take it there.
I guess just going back to people liking that graininess, it's people love to see the care and the professionalism, but then at the same time, it's like they know what they're getting into because they know that it's archives.
Right.
So
yes,
you want it to look like how it looked back then, because even now I'm starting to see in period pieces like different TV shows and movies that are shot now, but they're supposed to take place in like the 60s or something. Even the way, like Winning Time, the Lakers show.
Sure,
on
I haven't
HBO,
watched it. Okay,
the way it's recorded as if it's a camera from 1980.
Got it.
So,
Yeah, they want to transport people to that time. And that's how we put our eyes on that stuff back then. And, my brother made a great comment. I'm a digital photographer.
Yeah.
But I also learned how to shoot film.
Yeah.
And my brother said he made a great point, the difference between a digital camera and a film camera is that when you shoot film, it looks like a memory. It looks like a memory, while digital always looks present because it's so crisp, it's so sharp, it's so high quality. And I agree with him. So I could take a film shot right now in this room, and when we process it, it'll look like a memory, like immediately. It won't look like, I don't know how to say it, like an Instagram capture. Like it'll look like a memory. So people like that. They like that memory kind of feeling to it.
Yeah. What were or still are your influences?
Many. So I like to be influenced from the outside of. Okay, let me answer that simple. Okay. My influences are things outside of what I do. So, yes, I play basketball. I'm not a professional basketball player. I never intended to be a professional basketball player, but I did play basketball, and I still do. But Michael Jordan influences me a lot in not basketball.
Yeah.
Outside of basketball. The way I conduct my business, the way I run my life. You can learn from somebody. I want to be the best at this. I want to be as good as in this as he was in that. So I'm influenced by stuff outside of what I'm doing. Jay-Z is another one. Apple and Steve Jobs. They influenced the design of my studio, my aesthetic. And I learned from those figures many things, nuances. They teach me all the time, just different things. And so I'm influenced in that way. Those are like the big Beyonce, stuff like that. I love Beyonce. But artists, just like art in general, like I'll be a commercial could influence me. Like I could see an aesthetic in a commercial and go, ooh, I get that vibe. I want to do something with that vibe. I collect Vogue magazines. I love looking through Vogue magazines for like inspiration for anything, for photography, for editing, for all kinds of stuff.
Some of the best photographies in Vogue, I would say.
Yeah,
for sure.
And not only that, I also look at layouts.
Yeah.
Like photography is cool, but then I look at layouts, the way where fonts were put, text were put, and all kinds of stuff like that. Like I love stuff like that. and commercials, and I don't know. I'm that kind of person. I like aesthetics. I like Kanye. Kanye influences me a lot as well. That's a big one I miss. Fashion. We love fashion in my family. So there are many things that influence, but those are like the big ones right there that everyone would recognize.
Yeah.
But it's many things.
And are you able to capture all of that in what you put out with the Hip Hop VCR?
As much as I could, because all that stuff culminates inside of me.
Yeah.
And it's been there a while. I don't really know where it's coming from now. Now it's just a part of me. What? No, because all the stuff with Hip Hop VCR, it kind of went on auto with me. Like I didn't even have to think about it that much. It's more of just everything that is me that goes through Hip Hop VCR. I'm not really. I don't think I have even drawn inspiration from anywhere else for Hip Hop VCR in any capacity. So I'm sure it's in there somewhere, but it wasn't direct. So I'd have to think about something like that and see, because sometimes we do things and don't understand them, and we have to dive in ourselves and look as to why we did this or why we did that. But if right off the bat I go, nah, I just kind of went on automatic and just kind of move forward. Everything I did with Hip Hop VCR was fairly easy. It's just time consuming.
Yeah.
It's not difficult for somebody like myself to do what I did. It's just time consuming.
Could you give a step-by-step process of how a person digitizes VHS footage? Because that, in my whole life, I feel like that always amazes me. Like, how do you take a physical tape and then turn that into, something that people can consume in a modernized medium?
Right. I'm not an expert at it. I'm going to keep it real, because I feel like a lot of the work has already been done for me. And what I mean by that is that there's software out there. I'm using a software / hardware right now to convert my final tapes. But I did most of my conversions like over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So all of my Michael Jordan games and all of my most of my hip hop tapes. So I had 39 tapes that were on average between 6 to 7 hours each. On average, so 39 tapes. Then I had miscellaneous tapes, and those are the ones I'm converting now.
Yeah.
But those main tapes, I converted over 10 years ago. And again, it was the same situation back then. It was simply a software that came with a piece of hardware. And I don't know the terms for these items, but I'm sure that hardware, it's similar to what you have here on your table. Something that converts.
Yeah.
So it's something that I connected to my computer, and then that hardware I connected to the VCR, pop in the tape, it played, it then I have to play the tape, and then it converts it, and then it turns into whatever media I wanted. So MP4 in this example, right? Or AVI, I think I did back then. And so if I have an 8-hour tape, I have to play the 8-hour tape, and it's being converted and being stored on my desktop, for example. And now there are artists out there who convert professionally. I did a general conversion of these tapes. If I was a professional or an artist at this, I would have converted them into some file type that could have been restored better. And so that's essentially how it is. It's this hardware, software. I bought it on Amazon both times, and I'm currently doing it right now. So it's just connected to a Mac, and it's just like going and then I archive it. I name it, I tag it, and so it's easy for me to search, because I have a lot of stuff. And I do it in 2-hour increments, so that way I don't have this huge file. Yeah. And also, if I fail if there's a corruption midway in an 8-hour conversion, I don't lose the whole thing. But if I do it in 2-hour increments, then if 1 2-hour one fails, I just got to go back to that and keep going. So I would do that stuff overnight. So I'd go to sleep, press play on the VCR, start recording on the computer, go to sleep, wake up, and a whole tape would have been converted by then. And then there's the process of then putting it on YouTube, which is finding, four files that are 2 hours each, which compile 8 hours, and looking through there and finding footage for me to put on the channel and stuff like that, and then putting that in the software and cutting it up and all that.
Yeah, thank you for that, because I definitely want to know that, and I'm sure people that's listening and watching this definitely want to know that, because it's just, it seems tedious, and it seems not only tedious, but it's just kind of amazing to take that, physical and convert it into, even when I remember being little and thinking that like burning or like ripping music from a CD onto a computer or burning a CD was the most amazing thing.
I agree, though. I have the same feeling about that. Yeah. So it's interesting that you bring that up. I remember doing that and feeling, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You're right. Again, but that work has been done for us already because there's software and stuff like that. The geniuses are the guys who did it and programmed it. Like, how do we do that? Like, how do you... You're right. But also in reverse, like, how do we take a sound that a jazz... a saxophonist and take that and digitize it and then bring it through a speaker. And as a kid, I'm like, does the speaker have all the instruments in it? Like, like how are we getting this? Like, how do you put that on record?
Yeah.
Like you gotta like burn that into like, even to today, it's astounding. So it works both ways. Getting the physical, real life stuff onto this digital media, and then it gets archived for centuries. It's incredible. You know? Records and stuff and CDs. It's crazy.
Real nerdy talk.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have over 289 hours of VCR footage.
Yes.
How much have you uploaded on YouTube and Instagram so far?
I'm probably still sitting at 35 to 40% that I have uploaded. It's hard to say, but that's the number I feel. So essentially, I still have 60 to 65% still that I could put out.
Yeah.
And to put things into perspective, on my first HipHopVCR channel, which got shut down, as hopefully many people know, if you don't know, it got shut down because it got way too popping. And Viacom, who owns MTV, BT, and YouTube, they shut it down, and because I violated a bunch of copyrights and all that bullshit or whatever. But in 6 months, I had uploaded over 600 videos on YouTube, and that's a lot. It's a lot. So, and that again. So think about it. That's 35%. I had already put up 600 videos. So even I have 99 pages of catalog, like pages of just like Jay-Z, DMX, Dr. Dre, Eminem, just like all cataloged. I organized it, and so it's still a lot, And with the new channel, I'm putting it out even slower.
Yeah,
like one video every 3 days or something like that, compared to 10 videos a day before. Like it's wild.
Yeah,
So I'm baffled.
Yeah.
I could go in there. It feels like I'm gonna be there forever. Like I'm never gonna finish. And then I still got music videos. I'm not counting the music videos.
Wow.
Because I'm not allowed to put music videos.
Yeah.
Because people still getting paid for music videos. Feel me? So can you imagine? Like I'm sure I got music videos that nobody's ever seen before. Like maybe only
I saw once or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure I do because I recorded mad stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just not allowed to put up music videos. But maybe one day I'll release all that stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows?
When you were a kid, you were recording the bulk of this in your teens.
Yeah.
You were a kid, and when growing up, Claudio is from Washington Heights.
Yes.
You growing up in Washington Heights, and you and your parents' crib, and you're recording all this footage. Like, what was that? What was that dedication like? And did you think that it was dedication back then when you were, or was it just the love and just the passion to just be like, I'm gonna just record everything? Like, did you just sit down in front of VH1 and MTV and BET and actually be present while you were recording this footage, or do you just let it rock and then just go do something else?
Exactly. So you got it right. I let it rock.
Yeah.
because I was out and about.
Yeah.
I was not stuck in front of the television. I wanted to make sure. I'm trying to answer your first question here. So, dedication. I definitely didn't perceive it as dedication back then because remember, while I'm recording all of this hip hop, I'm simultaneously recording all Michael Jordan games. All Michael Jordan games from 1994 all the way to 1998. Then when he came back from the Wizards, I subscribed to this package that I got to see all 82 of his games.
Wow.
And I recorded all of them from the 2 years that he was on the Wizards. With the Bulls, those 4 years, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, you count all that, I recorded everything that was nationally broadcasted. So, like, there's games that they wouldn't air of Michael Jordan in New York. But many Jordan games were. So I'm recording a bunch of Michael Jordan games and then almost everything that I could from hip-hop on TV, from any channel. So I had a system where I would record, I would know when something was going to air, and I would program my VCR and go, okay, it has to record from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I would come home and then rewatch it and go, okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep this. Then I would re-record that on the main tape where all my other stuff is at, and then erase this tape later. So I had a tape dedicated to just recording when I wasn't around, and I recorded in what's called SP, which is the highest quality you could record. But when you recorded in SP, it took up less space.
Yeah.
More space on the tape. And so I would, when I recorded something in SP and I liked it, I would then re-record it on my other tape, an EP, which gave me more space, so that way I could fit more into an 8-hour tape. So most of the time, honestly, I was not sitting in front of the television because I was popping. I was out and about. I wasn't like the nerd. I wasn't like sitting I was out balling, playing basketball. I was out working, getting money. I was out hanging out with friends. I was doing everything a normal person would do, but I had that VCR on program and notes on my television going, don't touch the television, or because if somebody came and turned on the television, it's over. And I'm sure that happened a couple times, but that's probably where the note came from. Like, yo, let's not let this happen again. Yeah. Like, we're not doing this. So I recorded about half of it. I probably wasn't there. Now, if I came home from work or wasn't working or came home from school, and I so happened to be there, I would watch 106 in Park or I would watch Rap City. But also, let's say there was an artist that would appear in Rap City that I didn't like. Yeah, I was off that day. I'm not recording. I'm out. I don't got to do shit today. Yeah. Same thing in 106 in Park. If they had anybody who I didn't like. And also keep in mind that, while I'm watching something, they're already promoting the next couple episodes. Yeah. So I already knew ahead of time, Jay-Z is going to be on 106 in Park on Friday. Yeah. It's Wednesday or Tuesday. And I already got to start planning my Friday. This is gonna be a big deal. Yeah. And I would rather be there watching it live than record it. But hey, if I gotta be somewhere, then I'm just gonna record it, program the VCR, and take care of it later. Yeah, man, I was out and about. I wasn't gonna let that stop me from like enjoying my life and like being out there and getting in trouble and shit. So that's how it happened. Dedication, I could perceive it now as dedication. Yeah. But back then, it was just life. Yeah. And so I lived a secret life. Nobody knew that I was doing this. And I was popular everywhere I went. So people didn't know that I was home archiving like wild stuff. And nobody, I learned that some people ended up doing it, but nobody did it as prolific as I did, apparently. So that's how it went down with me with that. It was dedication in some capacity for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was passion though. Yeah. I loved it.
Definitely passion for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
You ever worry about running out of footage?
No, I look forward to running out of footage. I want to finish. Let me tell you something. My original plan for HipHopVCR was to put out 30-minute clips on YouTube of whatever I captured. So that means, I'm going to give you an example. If I have an 8-hour tape, that first half hour, I would just publish it on YouTube. This was my plan. So essentially, I would get 16 videos out of this 8-hour tape and let it be and let that shit go. I didn't care about views, subscribers. I just wanted to put it out. Again, because my goal was to get rid of it. My responsibility was to put it out. How I put it out, I didn't care. I just needed it to go out. Of course, the moment, and I did load my first half hour clip of tape 1, and it got like 60 fucking copyright because there was like Tupac music videos, Wu-Tang music videos, Dr. Dre music, and I didn't know shit about none of this copyright. I'm just like 30-minute, here we go, 30-minute, and my shit got blocked, and I was like, and then I stopped for a year. So I started HipHopVCR, like officially people knew about it in 2021 November, but I started it like over a year before that.
Yeah.
But when I saw that I got copyright, I was like, oh, I'm done. What's the point of this? Like, it's over. So I look forward to being done, bro. Like, I'm not, like, I want to do my duty. And hey, if this evolves into something else, and like many people don't know this, but I want to start a podcast for HipHopVCR. So it might evolve and take it somewhere, and I might end up making some money from this. Maybe not. Who cares? But my goal was always just to dump the footage and get rid of it. So if I'm done tomorrow and it all went out and it's out in the universe, I did my job and I'm good. And I could disappear, bro. Like, I'm good. Like, that's the way I see it. It's not about me. It's about the footage and the stuff. But it seems like people want to know somewhat about me. Obviously, you're here, you're talking to me, and you're not the first. So obviously, people want to know what's behind it, and I respect it. I get it. So,
what technical difficulties did you come across? I mean, you told me about how somebody might have probably recorded over it. When you write a note on the TV, like, don't touch the TV.
Sure.
But what technical difficulties do you come across with this footage? Because a lot of it is between 17 and 25 years old.
And when you say technical difficulties, you're saying at the time when I'm recording them, or after when I'm starting to archive it? Or both?
Or both, yeah, just back then.
Got you. I'll give you some examples. Technical difficulties from the beginning are going to be, yes, you program your VCR, you come home, you pop in the tape that you programmed it, and there's a novella, a novel being played, or like something, or you could literally see somebody flicking through the fucking channel, like, then they stop and they watch, a sitcom or some shit, and I'm sure that happened once or twice, but not any more than that, because I'm not gonna let that happen multiple times. But that's a technical difficulty right there, and that's frustrating because hopefully whatever that was, I don't remember what it was. It wasn't like a Jay-Z interview or something like that. But that's one. A second one is misprogramming a VCR. You think you programmed it for 3 p.m., but maybe you programmed it for 3 a.m. Forgetting to pop the tape in for the programming. These are all things that are familiar to me, so I'm sure that they've happened to me. Extremely frustrating, but from that comes lessons, and you go, I gotta tighten it up so stuff like this don't happen. So luckily it didn't happen often, and I got most of the stuff. Other technical issues, ripped tapes.
Oh, damn.
If the VCR decides to fucking eat your tape.
That was the worst.
Yeah, man. And you gotta yank this fucking tape out. And in order to get the tape out, you
have to destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me and my brother became like VHS tape surgeons. So like, you get this VHS tape and you know the stuff that's on it is super important, but you unscrew it and there's springs in there and aluminum pieces and shit that are all very important.
Yeah.
You want to take that stuff out, put it all aside, then you got the actual tape.
Yeah.
Then you got to go get a donor tape for the case.
Yeah.
So like, okay, this tape is no good. So like, this is garbage. So we're gonna take this tape out of here. Then we're gonna get this tape and put it here. Then this goes. Then we gotta, and this is if something is wrong with this case. But then if your tape has a rip, anyone who dealt with this would know. You tape it on both sides. You tape the tape, and anything on the adhesive tape, you're gonna lose that footage. It could be 25 seconds. It could be a minute. But at least you got the rest of the stuff. And so that stuff used to happen. And so anyone who dealt with VHS and VCRs, they're familiar with that. VCRs eating your fucking tape. The sound of that, of just like the crackling and crinkling, like your tape is caught up in there.
Feel like your life is over.
Another thing you would do is open up the VCR and try and get the tape out without losing it. And sometimes, man, that VCR just ate your shit. So that happened. Fixing VCRs, like we were technicians, man. You open the shit, you press this shit, then you know, okay, that helps it play better. Then you got just weird shit.
Yeah.
Kind of like stuff like that. Then later on, in converting, I didn't really run into many technical aspects. I mean, you're dealing with a computer, so you're talking about that you're trying to convert, 8 hours, and then you record 8 hours, then you go the next morning to check it, and then the audio is off sync. 8 hours, just like, it's just not synced. So then you have to reboot the computer, restart the software, do it over, and it will kind of, and to today, that still happens to today in the newer software that I'm using, where it just don't sync. Either the computer's cache is too full and the memory is all fucked, or you haven't rebooted like recently. But a reboot usually fixes all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so those technical issues there, not many on this end, but in the beginning when I'm recording this stuff years ago, you're dealing with mechanical VCRs and stuff like that, and these tapes, and you're gonna have issues, But there's always a way to fix it. So that was the beautiful thing. And we had to learn quick or lose everything we just did. So.
And that's the mentality with any creative, man. You just gotta have the mentality that anything can be fixed.
Yes.
Once you have that mentality, then it'll lead you in a direction of continuing to do whatever you're doing.
Yeah, man. You got to be a problem solver.
Yeah.
You got to be.
Have to.
You got to adapt quick. And in my business, I'm the number one problem solver.
Yeah.
Every day there's a problem. It's beautiful, though.
Yeah.
I love it. If you got problems in your life, that means you got problems to solve. That means you're busy.
It means you're learning, too.
Yeah, man. So human beings love solving puzzles. If you ain't solving puzzles, you're fucked. I don't know what to tell you. You need to be solving puzzles daily.
Mm-hmm. When you were recording and acquiring all this footage between 97 and 05, did you ever say to yourself, one day I'll release all this footage?
Never. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I watch it. Never did I go. None of the Michael Jordan stuff. None of the excuse me, hip hop stuff. Never. No, it was never my intention. First of all, I couldn't foresee then that there would be a demand for this stuff. I didn't assess that other people would like this as much as I did. Because if you did, you would have recorded it like I did. So obviously I liked it enough to archive it and do it ultra professionally, even back then when I was a kid. No, I never intended, maybe like, okay, I'll show it to my brother, maybe my friends, but never I couldn't foresee YouTube. I couldn't foresee a digital platform where videos would be prominent. No, I never. I did it all for myself. 100%, man. I did it for 80-year-old myself.
Yeah.
So I could die on my bed. I'm going to die. I might as well just sit here and just like watch all this shit. Like, go out like that. That's the way I see it. Like, and that's how I did it, and that's why I did it. To be 100. That's it.
Yeah. So back in April of this year, you released the footage of Jay-Z's full 2001 High 97 Summer Jam performance. Right. Mm-hmm. It was the first time that anyone had ever had access to that performance, unless you were actually in attendance.
Right.
When you released the footage, were you aware that people have never seen this footage? And did you say to yourself, this is the video that will blow up this channel?
Nope.
Yeah.
I did not at all. I was actually sitting on this couch when it happened. So every morning I would upload videos. I still do. When I upload at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
The reason is because that's the time that I leave to come to my photo studio. So right before I leave, my videos are scheduled. So like that video, to give some context, by the way, for those who don't know, I do themes on some weeks. So that week I had a theme, and it was Jay-Z versus Nas week, and I was excited because I'm a huge Jay-Z fan.
Yeah,
I love Nas, and I was curating a bunch of magazine scans in conjunction with videos every day that week that had to do with the Jay-Z versus Nas beef of 2001, 2002, right? And so it's a 7-day event, and it was gonna be one day Nas, next day Jay, then Nas, then Jay, and then the last day, which was gonna be Sunday, was gonna be both of them, right? And that video was supposed to be, which I did air, when they reconciled, when they were like, okay, we're cool now, it's cool, like they grew up.
06.
Yeah,
remember.
exactly. So it all came back to that. But so Nas interviews when he's promoting Stillmatic, clippings of like Nas talking about Jay talking about Nas, and so the fourth day, I think, was like, okay, yeah, I think it's relevant. I think I should put the Summer Jam joint because this is Nas on Takeover for the first time. Now, keep in mind, I had already seen the Summer Jam footage because I've had it for 21 years. So I didn't know that nobody had it. So I didn't know it was going to blow up my channel. To answer your question, I didn't know. So it's 10 a.m. That video's scheduled. It posts. I get in my car, come to my photo studio. I'm in the middle of a photo shoot.
Yeah.
I had a scheduled client that day. I had a small break because I think the clients were changing outfits or whatnot in my photo studio. And I sit right on this very couch, and my phone is blowing up. Like, I had never seen that before. I know what celebrities feel like now. They must be turning off all these notifications because this shit is killing your battery.
Yeah.
Like, this shit, your screen is lighting up. And if you have it on vibrator on some of these apps, it's shaking.
Yeah.
And so your joint is running out of batteries. So my shit is going nuts. And not only is it going nuts because people are hitting me up directly. Like journalists, radio personalities, bloggers are hitting me. All this is happening on this couch. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is happening? And people's like, yo, bro, you the GOAT of this. You the GOAT of this. And by that point, people already like my platform. But now I'm goated.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, yo, you the GOAT. You the
Yeah.
GOAT. Because they're like, yo, this guy got footage that nobody's seen before. And coincidentally, obviously, it's tied into Nas and Jay-Z, some of the biggest figures in our culture. And I'm talking about it just went nuts. And I'm like, yo, sweetie, this shit is going viral. Like, I'm going viral. And we're in the middle of this photo shoot, bro. And I just keep looking at my Apple Watch and I just keep getting notifications. But I didn't know that I was gonna blow up like that. And that very same day was the day that Peter Rosenberg hit me up. So I'm in the middle of the photo shoot, photographing, and he's DMing me, and I'm responding to him in the middle of the photo shoot. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, and then Hot 97 hit me up, like, independently. Like, Rosenberg hit me, but Hot 97 hits me up. That it DMs me directly, because it's Summer Jam, Hot 97.
Yeah.
So they hitting me up on the same day, or journalists, just everybody. I'm not good with names, so that's a bunch of famous people that who hit me, and I'm like, I don't know. I know they're famous, but I just don't know who they are, or care to know their names enough. I'm sorry, but the shit went off, bro, and I forget it. The rest of the week was just fucking.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And then a couple days later, Jay-Z gets word about it, and he hits back. He comments about the video, and I'm like, that's it. We went all the way, babe.
Yeah.
And more than anything, I was like, oh, that's cool. Jay saw it, but I was like, yo, babe, that means Beyonce saw it. Yo, we lit. It's over. Beyonce put her eyes on HipHopVCR. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way she didn't.
Yeah.
And so I was just joking about that, and I was like, I think that's kind of cool that kind of went down. It was never about me, but that's where all the media stuff happened. That's where people wanted to know who I was, where the fuck this thing came from, and the interviews ensued after that. Like, that's where. And here we are today. You know,
Yeah.
I'm still getting interviewed about
Yeah.
it, and it's kind of crazy about it, but never didn't see it coming
Yeah.
because I didn't know that it was unseen.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Well, how 97 hit you up? I mean, because you know that's their IP.
Yeah.
Like, so what did they say?
Nah, man, they were cool about it, man.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. They never pressed me on anything. They never copyrighted it. I don't know if they could. Maybe they could and they didn't.
Yeah.
But it's good. I give them shout outs because it's about the culture. It's bigger than Hot 97. It's bigger than Jay-Z. It's bigger than HipHopVCR. It was bigger than me. So the fact that they let it ride, I think I got to give it to them because, you know, I guess they could have been assholes about it. In fact, they were asking me if they could post it. And I was like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. So they had asked me if they could post it, and then I think Peter Rosenberg and the other two Hot 97 people, Ebro, and then Laura.
Yeah.
They did a video on YouTube where they kind of talked about it real quick, the video. And I think that's what they had asked me permission for, so they could put it on that video.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them verbal consent. We didn't have to sign anything. I mean, I don't really feel like I own it anyway.
Yeah.
I have it, but I don't think anybody should own it. I think it belongs to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm putting it out, right? And so they had asked me for permission. And even furthermore, when Summer Jam happened this year, they hit me again.
Yeah.
Asked me for permission to highlight the video.
Yeah.
On their social media, and they did. And I, you know, like they're gracious. Like they're asking me for permission. Meanwhile, they could rip it off YouTube and they put it with my logos and everything. Like they cool. They like, yeah, promote it. And it's awesome. Hot 97's been with it. I really appreciate them for that.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I would do. Like, it's all about the culture. It's not about who owns this or making money or whatever. And they let it ride, and I love that.
And it's like a full circle moment because you grow up listening to Hot 97.
Facts.
So
Facts, yeah.
you know, it's kind of surreal. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the attention you received from releasing that performance was almost a gift and a curse? No pun intended, because
Yeah, no,
both
Jay.
are.
Right, yeah.
Because shortly thereafter, the channel was shut down by Viacom, CBS, and YouTube.
100%. It's the reason why it got shut down. It amassed so much attention so quickly that it hit their radar. It hit everybody's radar. It hit Jay's radar. So it hit, like, you know, the video went viral, but in our community, in our culture.
Yeah.
So it went viral there. So if planet Earth is a circle, it only went around on one pixel.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere else, it's not really relevant. It's like the culture. I think it circled the planet as long as you were a part of the hip-hop culture and community. So we went viral that way. That's how that video went viral. And it went viral enough that the quote-unquote owners of other copyrighted material that I was posting, not even that video, ironically, that's the only video that I post that I have copyrights to, that I own.
Wow.
Ironically.
The irony, yeah.
Yeah. Everything else is owned by somebody else. And most of it, when it came to MTV, BET, and VH1, is owned by Viacom. So it definitely felt like it had something to do with it, and it hit their radar. And they just saw that I was like owning all the BET content.
Yeah.
And I think they specifically were after the diaries. You know, the MTV
Yeah.
the MTV diaries, DMX. That's where I got hit. All my copyright got hit with all the diaries. And I think it's because they're planning to re-release them. And they wanted that stuff offline so they could generate income from it on their Paramount platform. So from what I understand, from the little I've heard, that might be the reason why they hit me with all the copyrights on the diaries. So it's all the diaries. While they were at it, they were like, fuck it, shut the whole shit down. And they went after everything. So sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say, when I relaunched the new channel, HipHopVCR 2.0, the first video I uploaded, which was the only video technically I'm allowed to upload, was the the Summer Jam joint.
Yeah.
And I did that immediately after HipHopVCR 1.0 got shut down, because again, that video belongs out there. Like, yeah, I got shut down, but like, let's put that video back out.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be out there. It's important for the times, and I put it out. And then I got off HipHopVCR for like a couple months, and that was the only video on there. And now I'm kind of back up and going, and still posting copyrighted stuff, but just taking it easy.
Yeah.
Not going ham like I did the first time around.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not posting any MTV, BET, or VH1 stuff owned by Viacom. Like, none of that stuff.
Yeah, that's hard now, because I mean, these corporations, these monopolies, you don't know what they own and what they don't own.
I know, it's true. You're right, and I had no idea that they own all that stuff.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Would you be more upset if they just took down the Driven content and not all the other stuff?
Would I have? I mean, I would have rather that.
Yeah,
I didn't like the fact that the channel got shut down. I mean, it had accumulated so many subscribers, and I went from 11,500 to 0. You feel me? And I had put in a lot of work during that time. I had done a lot of development for the platform, including starting a merchandise website and selling stuff so I could be compensated for the time. I had bought a new MacBook to deal with the video editing aspect of it. I needed I was due for a new MacBook.
Yeah.
So that took it over the edge. I was like, yeah, if I want HipHopVCR to go, I'm gonna invest in this machine. So I bought almost a $4,000 MacBook Pro, so I could deal with the footage, and I would have rather. I don't understand the logic. Like, why not just take the videos down? But they disciplined by just destroying the channel. On top of it, they destroyed my TikTok, which was picking up speed. I was also putting clips on TikTok. But then Instagram doesn't have that policy, which is great. Viacom also went into my IG and took down a bunch of MTV.
Scrubbing the internet.
That's fine. But then Instagram was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You can keep going with your platform, though, because everything else is still good. But YouTube doesn't have that policy. So I kept going with IG, which is great. IG just kind of took the videos down, and I kept my followers, and it was all good.
Yeah.
It just seems like more of a logical situation, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been the best case scenario right there. But unfortunately, we don't own the platform, man.
Yeah.
We also don't own our own history, apparently. That's our history, right? All that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care who recorded it.
Yeah.
I don't care who got paid, who didn't get paid. It's our history. That's history, and y'all wilding, saying that y'all own it and y'all could control it and shit. Like, I don't know. On a quick note, I'm a professional photographer, and most photographers own the rights to the photos that they take. Mm-hmm. So if you come to my studio and you hire me, you pay me to photograph you, and I photograph your baby, I own those photos.
Yeah.
You paid me, and I own the photos.
Yeah.
That's the policy. That's the rules. In a court of law, I would win that. But in my world, I go, nah.
Yeah.
You own those. And I give you all the photos. And if you want to make your baby famous with my pictures, the pictures that I took of your baby, and you become a zillionaire, I don't want a penny.
And they paid you already.
Right. So. But that favors the photographer. So in my world, I'm not with that. If I photograph your baby and your grandma and all that stuff, I said, that's your photos.
Yeah.
That's your history. For me to hold that back from you and say that you can't have it or you need to pay me extra or that, I don't understand that, because that's your history. You helped my business by hiring me, but this is bigger for you. This is your history. This is your grandmother. She might not be here one day. And so if clients call me and they go, yo, Claudio, I lost my photos. Can you send them again? Absolutely. Here you go again. How much? Nothing. They're your photos.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm storing them on my hard drives. I'm paying for hard drives, but no, I don't understand that. But that's my philosophy, and that's the same philosophy with me with this footage. Like, I don't care who recorded it. Y'all think y'all own it. Y'all can say on paper, y'all say y'all own it, but no, that belongs to the universe, and that's just my philosophy on it. And that's why I do what I do, how I do it. That's why I do it. That's our shit right there.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think can be done collaboratively with you and these corporations in that same video? Where you talked about in the video on your second HipHopVCR platform,
Yes.
2.0.
Yep.
You were addressing the page getting shut down. So,
Yeah.
what do you think can be done collaboratively with you and these corporations? Because you were more upset for the viewers of the content,
Right.
rather than for yourself.
Yes, exactly. The answer to that question is anything could be done. As long as people get together and talk and get creative and collaborate. When you don't create that forum, nothing will happen. I don't believe that it's impossible for two people to sit down and work something out.
Yeah.
So for me, it's there's no ceiling. Anything could be done. Let's just get creative. I could come up with literally a million things that could be done collaboratively. They could win off of me, and I could keep doing what I'm doing. I could put their logo on all that shit, whatever. I could be their liaison in this underground kind of like world for like hip hop archiving and stuff like that. You feel me? Like I could be. It's kind of like, you remember the radio stations. You got the main DJs, maybe the Funk Master Flex and stuff like that, and they're playing their stuff from like 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
But then around like 10 p.m. you got like the underground DJ that kind of
K-Slay and them.
Right.
Yeah.
And you gave them like an hour or two or whatever, right? Like there's tiers to this, right? On the same platform. You feel me? Like Hot 97 was a platform. And they have tiers of their shit. And it's like, okay, in the late night, we'll do like the DJ underground joints. Where, some DJs will break this artist maybe from the South. So stuff that wouldn't be as popular right now. But Funk Flex is going to play the new J joint. All the DMX stuff, all the Jadakiss. While this underground DJ is going to play some stuff that's not quite known yet, right? They could have done some kind of structuring like that. But these people, they're not that creative. They don't come from our culture. They're not us. They don't, they think very binary. No, streaming service, this, and all of this could have been incorporated. We could have all won. I had already created a level of buzz. Of course, I don't have a million people looking at me yet, but there's momentum and this trajectory, like where it was going. And the fact that they're not connected to our culture is what allowed them that insensitivity. You feel me? Like if somebody like me happened to old Viacom, I definitely would have approached that situation differently. Even if I'm a billion gazillionaire, even if I have lawyers behind me, like at the end of the day, the human element is what it boils down to. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why are we doing this? Who are you doing this for? Like, it's the human element. Like, who are your buyers? Who are your sellers? Who are your people? It's the human element. And humans have ears and brains and eyes and senses. Mm-hmm. It's like, and you could control that by simply saying hi to somebody. And so they could easily organically, I mean, come on, man. Anyone creative could see right through that. Like, but again, the fact that they're not connected to the culture.
Sorry, could you say that
Sorry,
again?
that's my Siri right there. They weren't connected to the culture. It's what allows them not to feel that they need to talk to somebody like me. Like I'm a nobody to them.
Yeah.
Like whatever. But I'm a somebody. I'm doing something that nobody ever did. You feel me? And so give me that respect. Mm-hmm. Give me a word.
Yeah.
Give me a meeting. Give me a phone call. Mm-hmm. But they didn't disrespect me. They disrespected our culture, our community when they did that. And I hope I exposed it, to be honest.
Yeah.
We need to own our shit. Yeah. Whatever we do. Yeah. You need to own your shit. You own your shit. Like, let's keep it that way, mm-hmm. Like, no matter what. Yeah. Like, take 10,000 instead of 1 million if they want this. Yeah. As long as it means you keep it. You feel me? Like, because you'll get the 1 million later. So take the 10 now. Fuck it. That's how I see it. And unfortunately, that's just how I rolled. And We could have figured something out. That's the answer to your question. Anything could have been possible. Anything.
Yeah.
That's how easy it would have been. One word. Let's go. Let's talk. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
And, they could have seen that I'm a sensible individual because I was already online doing interviews.
Yeah.
I'm not a crazy guy. Like, you feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm well-spoken. Like, this is a guy you could talk to.
Yeah.
Sensibly, but they obviously didn't care. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. What was so special in hip hop between 1997 and 2005 that made you want to archive everything you possibly could?
Nothing was special. That was just my era.
Oh.
That's where I was at. I didn't know it was special.
Yeah.
It was just happening in front of me. So if I was in the 80s, it'd have been the same situation. If I was now, so I think me and you were talking something to this effect before we started on the podcast. But it's like, that's my era. You feel me? Because I was awakened during that period. That's when I was growing up. There's kids today having a very similar experience in hip hop, in the culture during their time. It's not their fault they weren't 15 in 1997.
Yeah.
That's not their fault. They're 15 in 2022. And so when they hear this music right now, there's kids who feel just like I did back then. So there was honestly nothing special about it. The people who find that era special are the people who experienced it.
Yeah.
And there's rarities. You're at the edge because you're younger than me. But there's even guys younger than you.
Yeah.
Who appreciate that era. But they're a minority.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real, right? Our era belongs to us. The KRS-One era belongs to the KRS-One era. The 50, I don't know how to say his name, but all these new artists and stuff like that, these guys, it's their era now.
Fabio.
Yeah. It's their time, it's their era. And it moves a lot faster now than it did when we were younger. Because somebody could be popping today and then somebody else is popping 2 months from now, who's the biggest of the biggest. The Baby went from, the biggest of the biggest to trying to come back. And it's only been like 2 years. Meanwhile, Jay-Z had a whole 8 to 9 year straight run of albums. You feel me?
Every single year.
The Baby has a comeback story within a 2 year span of his not his entire career, but once he blew up and stuff. So it moves a lot faster now, and so it is different in that way. But there was nothing special about it. It was special to me. It was special at the time. We experience it differently when it's present, when you're there.
Yeah.
And even if you're young and you're experiencing my era, and let's say you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 today, and you're going back to learn about the era, the 90s and early 2000s, you're going to experience that very differently. It was visceral for us.
Yeah.
Like, we were there. Like when Jay dropped Takeover, I remember that feeling. Nobody can ever experience that unless you were there. When Nas drops Ether, everyone who was there remembers the feeling of that. When Jay would drop a freestyle, when Jay, when DMX first came out, I wrote a blog about it, my experience. It's on my website, where I speak about the first time I heard DMX. Yeah. It was a special moment. I'm gonna write about the first time I heard Big Pun, the first time I heard Eminem. You feel me? But somebody who's 20 years old today, you can't understand that. So for every person, your era is the most special thing in the world. There's something about that age range is what it is. Once you're 15 and
when you really start falling in love with whatever culture is prevalent.
Yeah. Fashion, sneakers, sports, music, girls, school, the smell of school, the smell of paper, the smell of a magazine, the smell of pizza is different. You feel me? So it's all relative. It's all relative. I don't want to sit here and think that my era was the greatest ever in the world.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I don't know. It was the greatest era I ever experienced.
Yeah.
But I can't tell that to a 20-year-old. And I also, you know what? I also can't tell that to like a guy from, who loved KRS-One and all that stuff. I'm not a big fan of those guys before anyone before Nas, Biggie, Jay-Z, Tupac, and Wu-Tang. Like I don't rock. I'm sorry, I just don't. I didn't like that type of rap. I never liked it. I'm not like El Cool J is like right there. Like he came towards the end of that KRS-One kind of like hip hop Bronx era.
Yeah.
But then he kind of is also modern, like in that Jay-Z kind of. But I was never a big fan of LL. I just didn't like that type of hip hop, that kind of like old school kind of rap. But those guys from that era didn't like the new era coming.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing them talk about it, like Jay-Z talk about drugs and shit. Fucking Tupac getting shot and shit. What kind of shit is that? Our legends don't get shot and shit. And it's like, meanwhile, Tupac looked up to KRS.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z looked up to Big Daddy Kane and those guys. So like you guys kind of have something to do with it. Like these are drug dealer street guys who like your music. And then they go, let me turn to music. But these are real hip hop guys. These are actual, like, KRS-One is an actual rapper. Jay-Z is a hustler who raps, bro. Like, a lot of T.I. and Rick Ross and Tupac and Biggie. Biggie is a street guy, you feel me? Like, he was in the corner, like, hanging out and shit, But KRS-One is like a hip-hop guy, you feel me?
Hip-hop only. Yeah.
Like, these guys weren't drug dealers. Most of them, they weren't hustlers. They were not street guys. They were, like, rappers. And during that time, there was a big difference between a rapper and a street guy.
And the street guys made more money than the rappers.
Yes, and the street guys will talk shit and make fun of the hip-hop guys because the hip-hop guys will go on tour and travel and come back with no money. And the street guy would be in the same corner and be shopping at Dapper Dan's, And those guys, that era, they talked down on my era when my era was starting. So I made sure not to do that.
Yeah.
Later, like, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, Jay-Z, fuck y'all artists. Jay-Z's the best. Jay-Z's not gonna be the best one day.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's not gonna be the best one day. There's a bunch of kids out there who go, LeBron James is the best. Steph Curry is the best. Kyrie Irving is the best. Okay, they're gonna forget about Jordan one day, and it's all good. That's just how life goes. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is.
Yeah. Have you archived anything past 2005?
Hip hop?
Yeah. Or anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
The rest of my life.
Okay.
My children.
What about hip hop?
Let me think. So I collect MP3s.
Okay.
Files. So it might sound weird, right? Maybe not to you, but just think about to a streaming kid who only streams music.
Yeah, they don't download nothing.
They don't download nothing. Till today, I'm downloading MP3s. Today, Beyonce released her new album Renaissance, and I downloaded that joint.
Yeah,
I have the MP3s, so I like collecting the MP3s. I like having the file on my computer.
Yeah.
I also stream. Don't get it wrong, but I like the file. I want the file. I want to own the file. So let's think more openly. I am still archiving. In this case, I'm archiving MP3s. I archive YouTube videos about hip hop. So if Complex News, DX News, if there's a documentary that was put out about Kanye West, about his sneakers, or about how My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy changed the game, or 808 Heartbreaks changed the game. Like, there's independent guys on YouTube creating documentaries about this that are great, and I rip them. And I store them on my computer. So now, 20 years from now, if YouTube changes drastically or something radical happens, and let's say these videos aren't around, or 30 years from now, I'm going to have a whole nother archive of this era, and I'm still doing it. So yes, I am archiving YouTube videos right now, MP3s right now. What else am I archiving? That's all I could think of. Not much physical media like magazines. I used to archive magazines, obviously, in the 90s. Nothing too physical right now that I could think of. I still collect sneakers, but mostly Yeezys. I used to collect Jordans, so I'm gonna keep all my Yeezys. They're part of history,
Yeah.
and they're part of hip hop history. No matter what people feel about them, like you have to put things into perspective. Like Kanye started his own fashion brand, guys,
Yeah.
and it's fucking huge, still to today. So I archive. I guess I keep those sneakers. Um, um, that's all I can think of right now. But yes, I am still archiving hip hop in that way. I'm changing with the times, and as the time change, I'll find another way to archive. I don't know, but I will continue to archive. It's just in me. I'm not. I'm not a. I know they call me an archivist, but I just am who I am. I just do that naturally. That's just me.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think that people will ever get tired of nostalgia?
No, it's
Yeah.
built in us. We have to go back. I guess we have to go into the neurological reasons why humans do that. Nostalgia it reminds you. I don't know. It gives you a good feeling. How do you feel when you experience nostalgia? How do you feel?
Gives you like that warm feeling, you know? It reminds you of the best of times.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Even though those weren't the
Best of times. Yeah.
We only remember the best parts of that.
Yeah.
Because I also like to call out people on that bullshit, because the good old days.
Because when it was happening, a lot of times it was like traumatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then when you look back, it's
Yeah.
like that was
100%. I can go. I'm realistic enough to go. You know what I felt like? I was an insecure kid during those times. Yeah, hip hop was there and I was recording and I loved it, but I was also dealing with girls and money and being poor. I had a job, but I knew I was poor. I knew I came from a poor community. So it wasn't the best of times. I wanted more clothing. I wanted more money. I wanted the right girl. I wanted to be comfortable. I wasn't. I was having fun, but it wasn't the greatest time in the world.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, the greatest time in the world is when I started raising my kids. Like, I could really say that. Like, but I think people are just nostalgic about that era. We go back to what you said. People go back in time, and for some reason we filter out, only keep the good and leave the bad, which is great.
Yeah.
It's good. You don't want to, relive the bad stuff. But realistically, it wasn't the greatest time in the world. Politically, it wasn't. Economically, it might have not been for some of us. So, nostalgia just kind of like, it might be an inspiration tool. It might be something that we use to continue to push forward.
Yeah.
Maybe continue creating nostalgia.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason. I'm sure human beings were doing it 100,000 years ago. You feel me? So, if you had a migration path in Africa and your people took that, and you came upon this rock, and this is where y'all stopped off to drink or whatever, and you come back year after year, you're gonna think about that rock. You're gonna be like, oh my God, like I remember when I was a kid and I used to play here with my brother and we would stop here all the time. This place is special to me. You feel me? Like, and maybe it's to promote, to keep creating those situations, So it's bigger than media per se, right? Like consuming music or videos and stuff like that. It's just something that our brain, I feel, kind of does. I'm sure there's scientists out there who have developed these ideas, who they know what's up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we look it up and find it. But
yeah.
It's in us.
Yeah, that's definitely a perspective you don't usually hear people say too much, but I definitely understand why you said that.
Right.
If you don't mind answering this question, how lucrative can YouTube be? Because you have a nice size following, over 3,500 subscribers, and right now, and hundreds of thousands of viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Views per video, and even before that, on the old HipHopVCR, you amassed 11,500 subscribers and uploaded over 600 videos.
Yes. So your question is, how lucrative can YouTube be? Let me ask you. You think I'm a YouTuber?
Technically, you are.
Am I? Am I a YouTuber? First of all, I don't make a dime.
Yeah.
Off YouTube. Not a dime, regardless how much content I've created not for them, but on that platform. I've never been paid a dime. I'm not eligible for monetization. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Because I have too many copyrights.
Mm.
So I've never been paid by YouTube. Now, it's hard for me because I don't consider myself a YouTuber, so I don't do any YouTube research. I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. So I don't know what would 11,500 subscribers translate to when it came to money.
Yeah.
If I were to be monetized.
Yeah, I don't even know how that works either.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, I did start a merch store to compensate for that. And the reason why I did it was to compensate for my time. I was spending time and money to publish these videos. Time is money. I run a business. If I spend a minute on anything other than my business, I'm losing money.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. If I could spend 24 hours in my business, I would be fucking rich. So when I'm sleeping, I ain't making money. When I'm doing HipHopVCR, I ain't making money for my real business. So I had to find a way. So I started a website and a merch store. And at the peak of the channel, I was making not a lot of money, but I could tell it would eventually turn into something good.
Yeah.
Because I was making an average of one sale a day. One sale a day where there was a sticker. I sell stickers, shirts, sweaters. The profit margins aren't that good on the sweaters and shirts that I sell on my website, but the profit margins are over 100% on the stickers. So the more subscribers I was getting, the more sales I was getting on a daily basis. So if I could see 1 million subscribers on YouTube, I would almost probably be making between $40,000 to $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
Just from merch. If I could do that rough estimate right there, 40 to 60, if I had 1 million subscribers who tuned in and gave me views, and then thus I was promoting my merch store to them, you understand? So imagine 11,500 subscribers, I was seeing one sale a day. One sale a day. And that was pretty good. I was hearing cha-ching once a day. So if I keep multiplying that, you know, if I would have had 100,000 subscribers, I would have probably made around 9 sales a day.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you keep doing the multiplication, and my channel was growing exponentially. So it would have been more than that. So again, I don't know how lucrative it could be. Now I do understand that YouTube could be very lucrative. You know, you're on your way. Your content is monetized. You can monetize your stuff. So, you know, whenever you get to 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, are you there yet?
No, I'm not quite there yet.
When you get there, you're going to be able to monetize, and you're going to know right away. You know, they're going to sell you a couple dollars at first, but you're going to know right away. You're going to do the multiplication and go, oh, if I do this, I should see this kind of money. But it's exponential. It's multiplied as you grow, as the channel grows. Yeah. That's just how marketing works. It's hard for it to explain. I understand it because I run my own business. Yeah. It's exponential. You know, 11. So if I had 11,000 subscribers and that meant one sale there, it doesn't mean that I would have got 2 sales a day for 22,000. I might have got more. Mm-hmm. I might have got 3. So it just grows exponentially like that. It's weird. Yeah. Yeah. So I hope you'll get there soon, and when you do, you're gonna be able to answer that question for me. Yeah. How lucrative it is.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
What keeps HipHopVCR still going, even with the obstacles that you faced and will face in the future?
Responsibility. Yeah. Responsibility. It's time consuming. It's relatively annoying. It takes up about 2 hours of my day in the morning. I wake up 2 hours early just to post that day, because I post on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. And sometimes when I post magazines, I have to scan the magazines, put them together, add some marketing material to it so I could.
How you scan on the printer?
Yeah, I do scan on the printer. They scan pretty good, and they look really good. You've seen the scans?
Yes, I have. I have seen them. Yes.
They're mostly on Instagram. You could see 10. I do 10 pages, not 10 pages, 10 swipes, which could equal about 12 to 13 pages of a magazine because they're long and skinny. But The lost my train of thought here real quick. So, what was your question again?
So you were talking about scanning
Yes.
on magazines.
Yes. So it takes up a lot of my time in the morning. But your question, ask it again.
Oh, so I was asking, what obstacles, what keeps you going?
Oh, yes. So it's the responsibility. That despite, so I was listing all that stuff because it's a lot of work. And I was listing all that stuff that despite all that work and the fact that I'm not getting paid, there's got to be something motivating me to continue to post.
Yeah.
And it's responsibility. I feel like the stuff just needs to be out there. It does not belong in my possession, in my archives. It belongs in the universe. And that, at this stage, is the reason why I do it.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the first shutdown, I would still be posting daily, which means more time, more effort. And I just found a rhythm. I found a way to fit it into my day, and I found a rhythm where it wouldn't interfere with my family time and my business time. And that was the 2 to 3 hours in the morning. And I would dedicate. So those who don't know, it takes 2 to 3 hours for me to do that. That's crazy. Rip the video, edit the video, post it on all the platforms, create some kind of marketing material, shout out the people who are on the video.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe that I sit there for 2 to 3 hours doing this. Sometimes I could do it quicker, but there's times 2 hours.
No, I know, because when I'm posting these clips and stuff,
Bro.
like I'll be like, damn, like how it's just posting a video on Instagram.
Bro, I woke up at 8 in the morning. It's fucking 10 a.m. I gotta go to the studio.
Yeah.
And I just finished posting on social media.
Yeah.
What is this? You know, like and I'm not even creating the content.
Yeah.
Content has already been made for me. I just have to curate it and put it together and shit like that. And shit is crazy. So it's all responsibility, man. It's the only answer. It's why I do it. I don't do it for money.
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying me. I'm not getting nothing from this in regards to monetary, or I'm not trying to build fame either. I'm not really trying to be famous.
Yeah.
I run my own business in my own way. I market it my own way. You know, I don't tie in HipHopVCR to my business so that way I could get business.
Yeah.
Like I separate it. People's like, yo, promote Real Dip the Field. Promote your photography business. And I'm like, man, I'm doing that already.
Yeah.
I get my clients. I'm on Google. I'm marketing. You know, I got my own social media for that one. And that one takes work. But, you know, it's just responsibility, man. And that's why I want people to support the channel. Like, support it. You know, like because there's somebody behind this that cares. I'm not, there's no greed behind this stuff. There's no, you know, and honestly, you know who I'm talking to? I'm not even talking to the fans. I'm talking to the big ups. I'm talking to the Jay-Z's, and like those guys need to find a way to like continue a platform like mine. And I give two fucks about meeting these guys. Like, yeah, I'm a Jay-Z fan, but I'm not doing this to fan out.
Yeah.
And none of that stuff. I'm a grown man. I got kids. I can't be fanning out over another man or woman. Like, you understand? Like, I'm not a kid. Like, kids fan out. I don't fan out. I'm good. But, you know, it's all about responsibility. And that's how it goes. That's how I roll with that.
Yeah. So what's next for you in Hip Hop VCR?
Podcast, always evolving the platform. I got a new intro. The intro is great. I didn't make it. It was gifted to me. I appreciate it. Fresh Out. The guys at Fresh Out Podcast. Check them out. They're awesome. Great brothers in the field. So, you know, always tweaking Hip Hop VCR, making it more legit, more professional. The podcast is something that I'm working on with a partner of mine. He's a musician. So we're looking, you know, I have to find the time for this. It takes us so much time. A podcast on top of, you just built this whole set. It took you like an hour and a half, bro. We didn't even start. This shit is crazy. It's going to take time. Because you're doing it right. You got to do it right. We could do this shit in 5 seconds, do it wrong. Yeah. But you're doing it right. I want to do it right. So those are the two main things right there. Just continuing the platform, pushing forward. The subscriber count is up to 3,600, I think, today. It's growing still, like despite the fact that I got knocked down, but I got up again. 6,000 followers on Instagram. It might not be a lot for other people, but the thing is that I think it's a lot. I think because I know where it's going. So those are the next things right there. Look forward to the podcast and creating good content for that. And otherwise I can't think more merch. I guess I got to create more merch at some point.
Yeah,
I want to create more unique T-shirts and sweaters and stuff like that. Stuff for the culture, stuff like that.
Yeah. So Claudio, I know that you're a photographer by trade, and you're also a lover of hip hop, a genre where words are so important. Yes. And the name of this podcast is Words Matter.
Sure.
So with that,
you want me to freestyle right now?
Nah. So with that being said, why do words matter to you?
Damn, B. You're asking the right person because I like talking, and I've gotten through life and manipulated my way, positively manipulated my way through life.
He's about to get canceled real quick. He's a manipulator.
Yeah, word, facts. That's why I got to make sure I fix that, right? But that word manipulation gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
It's just a word, right? It's a word. You use it how you use it. But you got to manipulate yourself through many situations. Manipulate the situation, manipulate the environment. And so my words have gotten me through a lot because my words show intent. They show motivation. They show reasoning. So they're everything for me. I'm a very expressive individual in all matters, especially my words. And I wasn't really the kind of kid who liked school, hated English. I didn't read my first book until I dropped out of college.
Wow.
Because it was stuffed down my throat before that. Then I learned how to read. And by learning how to read, I mean that I learned how to like how to read. I knew how to read, but I learned how to read, which means I learned how to like it. And thus, when you like it, what happens when you like reading? You take everything in. When you don't like it, you're just reading words. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're just reading to the class, whatever the fuck. You're not consuming, So it means a lot. Ask me the question again so I can line it up again.
Yeah, so why do words matter to you?
Right. Because they control my environment.
Yeah.
They control everything. I get to manifestation. If I say it out loud, it's gonna happen. If I keep it to myself, nothing happens. So I've always been the type that if I have a goal, I say it out loud and I say it to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this one day. I'm gonna be this kind of person one day. I won't be this type of person one day. Because I hope they hold me to that. If I say I'm never gonna be like this person because that person isn't good, if I ever run into the person I said that to, I want them to go, damn, Curdy really did mean it. You feel me? So that's just examples of how your words control everything. And especially in today's day and age, where warriors are defined by not by how you fight and whether you could climb a horse and win the battle or win in the Coliseum. Like, there are warriors and they play sports and they fight. They fight in boxing rings and all that stuff and octagons. But they're also warriors. And I'm that kind of warrior. I'm adaptive. So in this world where the gift to gab is important, I have some of that.
Yeah.
And so I've always been able to profit from that. Whether it's when I used to have a job and work for somebody, I was always in favoritism. People liked me. You know why? Because I'm a good talker. And I never used it for evil. I never manipulated people to step on their necks. Everyone who knows me knows, obviously, I've always wanted to help. So that never was the thing for me. So words make the world go around. It depends what side of the bed you wake up, what makes the world go around. Yeah. Sometimes it's money. Yeah. Sometimes it's contracts. Sometimes it's words. Sometimes it's women. Sometimes it could be anything. But my life revolves around words.
Yeah.
The words I hear and the words I say.
Yeah.
Manifestation. Whatever I want to happen, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. And that's it. And I'm sure you could relate to that.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing big things here. And
Thank you.
And I'm sure you're telling people about it, and it's public. You let everyone know. And this is proof, you know, you're doing it. And it's awesome. And I commend you for that.
Thank you.
So keep pushing forward that, and keep putting the words out there.
Yeah.
Your words out there, because then somebody's listening.
Yeah.
Somebody's listening, and you're gonna be blessed for it.
Thank you. So I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
Nice.
Thank you, Claudio Abreu,
Yep.
founder of HipHopVCR,
Yep.
for allowing me to interview him. And I'm right in the Bronx. He's right in Mount Vernon, so it was great to just, get to interview in such a short distance. And for everybody that's listening, everybody that's watching, please like, comment, and subscribe on the Words Matter Network YouTube channel. Please rate on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, because that's how I start climbing up them charts in the genre that this podcast is under. So please do that. And yeah, man, thank you once again, and words matter.